Okay, so I'll show you what was their service. You all could hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I need to start the TFTP service, okay? TFTP is on, and then the permissions. Permissions for the CentOS file here. Which file is that? CentOS file. This one right here. So you have to go into let me do ls here. Okay, so this is where the CentOS file is at. You set the permission 755, and it's all good here. Now, what is going to happen here is, so we have all these things configured here, right? Go into settings and change the memory size to 2048. We need 2 gig of RAM in here. So I put a picture in here. You need a 2 gig of RAM, and if you continue on, you need 16 GB of hard drive, and then you boot with virtual host adapter only, and you should have the network all the way at the top in the network folder. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to restart this. So what is going to happen is it's going to boot from the Pixie server instead of booting from the CD drive. See, there you go. You have a menu which is coming up, and the CD, this is the same thing coming from the CD here, as if you're booting from the CD, but you're using a network. Okay, now boot to the CD. So it's going to boot here. Now what you could do at the same time, you could have this, and then you have another server here. This server is gonna, if you look at the picture here, it's not only 2 here. You could have multiple servers coming up and booting from the device. I'm sorry, booting from the server. I'm gonna take the screenshots. Control print. trying to take a screenshot. Maybe I have to do the snipping tool. This is good. I'll do this one more time. So what is happening now is booting up to the Red Hat installation. This is as if you're using the CD to boot up. See here, all this information is here, so you could continue on. Okay, so when it boots up, this is what it comes up to, okay? I'm going to get rid of this. It's not necessary. So now we have two simultaneous installation going on right now. Okay, so let's go ahead and start this. Okay, this one had okay. Now we have another one ready here, so we could continue on. I'm gonna set up a root password. Okay, now we have another installation coming up. It's verifying it. What else you could do is, while it's doing that, you could start one more. This way, this is how the network installation works here. You would be installing it from the network. You're not going to go around to a single PC or the server and then doing all this one at a time. It will consume a lot of time, right? So if you do a Pixie boot, then you could definitely have this. So now what you want to do is, you want to have like more options in here, right? Well, how do you offer more options in here, more than one image? You could definitely add a Windows image in here. I would definitely encourage you to play around and add a Windows image in it. So if you want to have more options in there, you just simply have to so you go into this file here and then paste it in there a couple more times, and each time what you have to do is, you have to change the repository where the config file is. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in here. I'm gonna have 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So I have 10 lines in here. I'm gonna paste it down here. Okay. So the more you do it, you could add more options in here. So I pasted these 10 lines, copied and pasted here. What I'm trying to say you is, you could do some edits in here. This IP address you could change around a little bit, and you have more menus there. When the system is going to reboot, or when you boot the system up, so like this one here, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to reset this, and it will bring us 3 menus here instead of 2 menus. See, it gave us 3 menus here. So here you could definitely add options in here, that you could have like a different version of operating system in here, and then you could install it. Let's select the last one and hit enter. So it's going to go through to that operating system. So next weekend is going to be our last class here. 26th and 27th is going to be last, and then we'll wrap this up. So I'm not going to wait here and wait for it to go through here, but you got the idea here that you could run multiple installations simultaneously. Okay. All right, good. So I'm gonna just close this. Okay, so now we have successfully installed the Pixie server. Any questions around this? Okay, so the instructions you have in here are accurate, okay? They are very accurate. The information I put it in together, it's working. Okay, good. All right, give me one moment here. I'll be right back. All right, I'm gonna go through here and see if I missed anything. Alia, did you upload your resume?
Not yet, but I'll do it today, inshallah.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, hold on. What I'll do is I'll do some edits on your and then send it to you
Okay. Okay.
this week.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay. Thanks.
because I looked at it. We need all those need to be in caps, all the services and all those. Yeah.
Okay.
So everybody else, if you need anything, reach out to me. Even after the class is over, if you need a help with resume, anything like that, any references, I'm ready for that. I'm starting a new class October 3rd. So if you know somebody is want to learn Linux, you could send it my way. But don't tell them how much I'm charging you. I barely charge you guys, okay? So okay, so let me see if I need to. I talk about the cron job, right? Cron job. DNS is really good here. I would encourage you to go ahead and do it like 3-4 times. It's really interesting how it works in combination with the name of the server, okay? Okay. Okay, let's talk about SC Linux. Okay, so that is the end. So let's talk about SC Linux. E. So let's talk about SC Linux. What is SC Linux? Okay. What is SC Linux is? Security Enhanced Linux is a Linux kernel security module that provides mechanism for supporting access control security policies, including mandatory access control. Okay, and SC Linux is a set of kernel modification and user space tools that has been added to the various distributions. So this is coming from NSA, okay? So if NSA is providing something like this, it's very secure. The Linux is secure. Okay, so let's see here. So there are two things in SE Linux, okay? One is a mandatory access control. Okay, this is an additional security layer over discretionary access control. Limiting who can do to what. Okay, so it's just simple thing where in your company you have who's doing what, right? They have the job roles. That's what this is. Security is. Okay, and discretionary, that means optional. Okay, so in this here traditional file permission, okay, access control list, okay, ACLs, we talked about ACLs in administration, and then we talked about set UID, set GID, okay, and sudo switch user and super user do privileges. So if you own the file or a folder, so I think I told you long time ago that file and folders, they both are files, right? If you're in a file or folder, you get to determine who get access to it. Okay, so this is your discretion. So there are three things involved who could have access to it. One is subject. Okay, subject is a user or process that accesses an object. Okay, and then the second one is object. What is an object? A resource such as a file, directory, device, or device or yeah, nothing else. Directory, device is in here. A file, directory, or device could be a hard drive. Okay, access an action performed by a subject on an object. So that's just an access. Object. Example. Read, write, and create. Read, write, and or create. Okay. And then next one you have is a security policy. So you could implement system-wide policy of rules defining which subjects can access with object. Okay, and there is a two-piece policy. Two policies in enterprise Linux. Okay, one is called targeted and the second is strict. And targeted is the default. Okay, and then the security context. Is tag used by SE Linux to store security attributes. So if you are applying security, where is the data being saved? That's what is called security context. Okay, security attributes. Of an object. And then the type of environment. Actually, enforcement. Okay, what kind of enforcement you could do? A type of enforcement that limits a subject's ability to access objects based on their type. I'll show you what I mean all this here in a minute, okay? It looks up the subject and object security context in the security policy database to determine whether to allow access. And how many modes SE Linux has? So you could go in here. Let me shut this down here. Let me get the practice box open. Okay. So what we could do is you type get enforce. So you have enforcing. Okay. And then let's see here. So what does get enforce? It's enforcing means SE Linux is enforcing. That means the security is on. Okay, so the enforcing mode. Security policy is enforced. That means the security is being applied. security is active. Okay. Now, if you do there is one more called permissive. Okay, so you have to set the permissions. So you get set enforce 0. Then you get enforce. It says permissive. Okay, so I will explain you what this is. Okay, what it's doing is security policy is observed and warnings are printed, but policy is not enforced. It's like police standing by and doing nothing. It's normal. Security policy is being observed and warnings are printed but not enforced. Warnings are displayed but policy is not enforced. Okay, and then what you could do is you could disable too. systemctl disable SC Linux. systemctl disable okay. So you don't, I thought you just have to run the command. We go to this site here. Okay, so I guess you have to just go in there and disable it. SC Linux equal to And here it says SE Linux enforcing, right? So when you do set enforce 0, this is temporary. It will go back to normal after reboot. Okay, so before that, so you disable this. Okay, I'm not going to do anything here. I'm going to quit. And then I'm going to clear this SE status. It says right now permissive. Current mode is permissive. So I'm going to restart the system and see what happens. So it should restart by now. I'm going to log in. I'm going to say then get enforce, and it is enforcing again. SE status, and it says enforcing. Okay, so rebooting will clear it up. So now this is a disabled mode, right? Disabled. So what is happening in disabled mode? SE Linux is turned off and no mandatory access control is in place. Okay, so what does it mean here? So let's go ahead and disable this. It says enforcing, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna disable this. I'm gonna reboot. Okay, it should be ready by now. You said type get enforce, and it says permissive, right? uh so say SE status, it says permissive. Okay, and if I go in here, it says disable. I'll make sure I spell disable correct. DISE. I'm gonna say disabled. DISABLED. Okay, let's see what happens. Okay, so let me restart the session. Okay, now it says disabled. Okay, SE status disabled. Okay, you have to use ED, DISABLE, ED. So let's see here. Let me clear this. If you type ID, uh, you get the ID information about root here, right? Let's see who else is here. Cat, etc, password, and okay. Let me clear this and let me get user add Zafar. Very easy. Yeah, right here. So I'm gonna quit clear. I do ID Zafar, and you're getting this information here, right? And if I do ID hyphen capital Z Zafar, and Z works only on SC. Okay, let's go ahead and enable it back. Okay. So what do? You don't type enable, you type enforcing. So yeah, we set up and make it working the Pixie boot So all the instructions are going to be in the document, and whatever you see in the document, use that one, and those are actually working. Follow everything in there, and it should work for you.
Sure, sir.
Okay. Why is it stuck here? I think it might take a little longer here. Come on. Okay, so it's back up now. So if you see get enforce, it says enforcing an SE status, and it is enforcing. Okay, so now let's see ID capital Z hyphen capital Z Zafar. Uh, cannot print security context when user. So let's do IDs Z only. Okay. So now it says unconfined user. Give me one moment here. So the enforcing is back, right? So now it says with the ID Z here, right? So I'm going to show you what all this means. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this one is going to go in here, and this part is going to go in here. This part is going to go in here, in here. Okay, so now this part is user, okay, and this part is role, and this part is type, and this part is security level. We're gonna go over this. So I'm gonna log in as Zafar here. And I do ID hyphen uppercase Z. And I was expecting unconfined user, unconfined R, unconfined. So maybe this is a pseudo user, right? Okay, let me cancel it. ID user 1. ID random. So I'm gonna say user add random, and I do ID random, password random, red hat. Okay, so now I'm going to do duplicate. ID hyphen Z. It says unconfined R. Okay, so we got a problem here. Get enforce. It's enforcing ls-l touch file 1 ls-lz unconfined user object role user home ts0. Okay, so I was gonna show you, let's see here. So we did touch file 1, and if you do ls-lz, unconfirmed object etc file. Okay, the process or the files are labeled with SC context that contain additional information such as SC Linux, user role type, and optionally a level. Okay, and when running SC Linux, all the information is used to make access control decision. The role user as a intermediary between domains here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna log in as Zafar. And I'm gonna access this file here. CDs, I'm in home, right? CD/home/random, and the permission is denied. What about file 1? Cat. Okay, the permission is denied too. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is so the list of contacts, right? Context of file. For example, when creating a new file in the etc directory that is labeled with etc_t type, new file inherits the same type. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this file as if a configuration file, so that a configuration file a regular user may or may not be able to edit, but most of the users, they're able to configure it, read it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do chcon change context, okay, -t, and what kind of context I'm going to change it to? Some kind of context which is somebody who is able to do it in etc folder. And then I'm going to do this directory and then the file name, file 1. Okay, so if I do ls-z, it says here that the user home _t is, now this file type is the same as if somebody has this file sitting in the etc folder. Okay, so let me cat this. Oh, permission is still denied. S chcon t and okay, touch file 1, touch file. Okay, so okay, let's go into cat etc password, right? ls-z etc password file underscore t. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna password file underscore t. I'm gonna apply the same policy in here to this file as the password file .t. And if I do ls-lz, the password file underscore .t is being is able to read by this Zafar, right? Anybody is able to read that. So let's see if this is going to work. Cat so the permission is read write. Let me try something else here. Se manage f context, okay, hyphen a hyphen t, okay, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this information here and which file I want it. I want it to be for you know what, before I run this command, I'm going to run the other command one more time. Just like this. Okay, and okay, se manage policies not managed or stored cannot be accessed. Slash home slash random okay. So I mean there are some things not working here. So, well, I will end here, and I will pick it up from where we left off next week here. Okay. If you guys have any questions, put it in. But I'm looking forward for you guys to do the Pixie boot service. So there's a lot of instruction in here. They're all good, and I want to hear from you if it's working or not. Okay. All right. So if you have any questions, put that into the chat, and then I will help you there. All right. You all have a good weekend.